You will not believe it, but literally every single part of the competition went wrong. It was bad. As I'm like rushing, like trying to jump in my swimsuit and I'm trying to fix my hair, one of the ladies helping me is like, "What's that on your swimsuit?" Hey guys, it's Mimi. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. I'm so excited for today's video. This is one that I've been wanting to share for a long time, and it's going to be a story time video about the time that I won a beauty pageant and how it took a spiritual turn. If you're new to my channel, again, my name is Mimi, and I make videos all about LDS doctrine, culture, and news. So if you're interested in those topics and then a little bit about my life, don't forget to subscribe. With that said, let's just jump right into the video. So, some of you may not know this about me, but I used to do pageants. And I know what you're thinking, like, oh my gosh, Mimi, I can't believe you did that. Pageants are all about looks and the girls are mean. But in reality, I had a very different experience than the stereotypical toddlers and tiaras type of experience. So, I started doing pageants when I was in, I think like 9th grade. I did them throughout junior high and high school, but just little ones. I never did like the big state pageants when I was at that young age. I was just getting my foot in the door. What I really liked about them was just feeling more comfortable on stage and in front of people, because I was actually pretty shy when I was younger. So I got into pageants myself. It wasn't like my mom or my family pressuring me into them or anything like that, but I wanted to grow as a person. So I had a lot of fun doing those pageants, and guys, I have some of my crowns here that I wanted to show you. This was my first crown that I ever won. It's not that sparkly, but it's fine. This is actually not even the biggest one I won. I have a bigger one. I can't find it. But then I also did like the Cinderella pageant, so I won this little baby one. I didn't win every one I did. This one I won just like the talent award, but in the other ones I would usually place, like I would win or I'd place in the royalty. But I didn't do it for winning. I thought they were a lot of fun just to compete, and I like to get dressed up and wear the dresses, so I had a lot of fun with them. And then when I turned 17, I had just graduated from high school, and I felt like I was ready to move into the Miss America pageant system. So if you're not familiar with pageants, the Miss America system is one of the biggest, I think it's the biggest pageant organization in the United States. Basically, there's local competitions, and then there's the Miss Utah competition, where all the girls who win like the local city comps compete for Miss Utah, and then whoever wins Miss Utah goes on to Miss America. So I decided that I wanted to try out one of those local competitions, and I was feeling confident. I had done pageants before, but this was very different from anything I've ever done. This was, you learn an opening number dance, you all wear the same dress for that, and then there's an in-depth interview portion that happens, as well as some more competitions like talent, which I hadn't done a lot before. So I was like, whatever. I was like, most of these girls have probably never even done a pageant, and I've done all these pageants. Look at my crowns. I was like feeling so confident going into it, and I actually ended up entering. It was the Miss Northern Utah County competition, and I was like a late entry. They let me do it. I think I was past the deadline. So at this point, all the other girls already knew each other. I think there were like 15 girls. And they'd already started learning the opening number dance. Usually opening number dances are not too difficult, but the theme for this pageant was like Latin nights. So it was a lot of Latin dancing, and I cannot dance. Like, I am the worst dancer. So entering into this pageant late, learning the opening number dance, a lot of the girls had already competed together before. A lot of them had actually done pageants before and had already been to Miss Utah. I was way in over my head. I didn't know the terminology. I didn't know. I'd never done swimsuit competition before. There was just a lot that I didn't know, and it was a very humbling experience for me. because I didn't even place in that one. I think that was one of the first pageants that I competed in that I didn't even place. So I was totally embarrassed, totally insecure, and at that point I didn't think I ever wanted to do pageants again. I don't know if it was like I was just a sore loser or if I just didn't want to take the time to practice and get to the point where I thought I needed to be in order to continue. But at that point in my life, I was like, I'm just done with pageants. I don't think I'm going to be pursuing this anymore. And I was happy with that. I had other things that I was doing. I was doing a lot of acting, and I was starting school in the fall at the University of Utah. So fast forward now a couple months to the end of my first year of college. I was just hanging out, living life, loving college, and I remember this was weird because I've had experiences like this before, but never quite like this. So I just remember I woke up one morning and I had this distinct impression in my mind as soon as I woke up that was, you need to do the Miss American Fork pageant. American Fork, by the way, is my hometown. That's where I grew up when I lived in Utah. And I was like, what? I was like, I had experiences like that where I've gotten revelation like the moment I've woken up before, but it was never to enter a pageant. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was the weirdest thing ever. And I was like, honestly, I'm done with pageants. I don't even know when this pageant is. The deadline could have passed to enter, or I'd have to wait till the next year. Like I knew nothing about this. I'd never even heard of the Miss American Fork pageant. So I was like, okay, weird. But of course, since it was that distinct and specific of an impression, I looked into it and I found out that the orientation meeting was going to be in a couple weeks, and then the pageant was that summer in June. I decided to, at least go to the orientation and get more information about it, but I still thought it was really weird that I had an impression to enter a pageant. A few weeks later, I get in my car and I drive from Salt Lake City down to American Fork for the pageant orientation. And I just had such a good feeling. Like being there, I was so happy. And I was really excited, and I decided to compete in the pageant. I started to get to know all of the girls really well, and we became really close friends. And honestly, rehearsing and preparing for the pageant was one of the best experiences ever. We had workshops every week. I think they were like Thursday nights where we'd get together and we'd work on, our walks, our interviews, we'd take our headshots all together as a group. And that is just what I needed in that point in my life. Like I was working a ton once the summer came, so it was really nice to have that for myself. The one thing that I was most excited about too when I was getting ready to compete in the pageant was the scholarship. I think that's ultimately what sealed the deal for me, is whoever won the Miss American Fork pageant would be getting a $3,000 scholarship, and then the two runners-up got, I think, like $1,200. So it's free to enter the pageant. I already had a lot of my dresses and everything, so I was like, why not? Like, that's a great deal. So throughout the start of the summer, I was obviously preparing as much as I could. I would walk around on my heels to get my feet used to them and practice my interview questions with my friends and family. But it was a busy summer. So I was working, I'm not exaggerating, probably 50 to 60 hours a week, because I was helping open a new branch office for my company. So it was literally insane. Like I was working a crazy amount. So it was a really, really hectic time. I remember during the dress rehearsal, I ended up switching almost my entire wardrobe during the dress rehearsal, which is the day before. So I'm sitting there in the dress rehearsal and they're like, hey, why don't you wear this dress instead of this dress? And they're like, yeah, we don't like your talent dress. Let me run to my house and get one that you can wear instead. So literally it's the night before the pageant and I have no idea what I'm wearing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I was literally like, I think it was like midnight the night before. I was running to Walmart to try to find different things that I needed to get because I was so last minute on things. So anyway, it was like a very crazy experience. This is where, it starts to get kind of spiritual. I remember that day I went in for my interview, which if you don't know a lot about pageants, basically in your interview, you have 10 minutes with a panel of judges and they can ask you anything. You provide a resume and an essay about your platform that they can ask you questions about, but they can pretty much ask you questions about current events, controversial issues, and you have to stand your ground and just share your opinions on things. So it's a pretty intimidating experience, but that's been always my favorite part of the competition. So I felt really good coming out of my interview. I remember I just had a lot of fun with the judges, and I felt like they got to know me very well. And a big part of that, of my preparation, was honestly prayer, and just praying that I could show the judges who I was and show them how I could be a good fit as a title holder. And I felt a lot of comfort and peace through the Holy Ghost through that entire interview, which I think helped it go so well. So later on in the day is when you do the final competition. So there's a bunch of different parts of the competition. So you do your opening number, you do your swimsuit competition, you do talent, evening gown, and onstage question. You will not believe it, but literally every single part of the competition went wrong. It was bad. But just to back up, I remember like right before the final show was about to begin, I found this like little utility closet, and I just went in there, I locked the doors, and I got on my knees and I prayed. And I prayed probably for like 10 minutes. I remember I think people were like wondering where I was, but I just knew before I got out on stage that I wanted, you know, the comfort of the Spirit to be there with me. And I think the biggest thing that I was praying for is just that I would be happy and content with the results, because I'm a pretty competitive person. Obviously, anybody competing in a pageant wants to win, but there's only one winner at the end of the day. So I remember praying just that I would be able to be happy for whoever won if it wasn't me, and that I would feel good about how I performed. But then during the pageant, literally, oh my gosh, it was like the craziest experience of my life. So the first part of the competition is the opening number dance, and I'm gonna try to insert clips and photos and videos from the pageant because it was bad. I've said this before, I'll say it again, I am not a dancer. When it comes to learning a dance routine, I feel like I can kind of get the moves down, but I am not graceful, and I get nervous dancing in front of people because I know it's not a strength of mine. So when we were doing the opening number dance, right off the bat, we were dancing to the song Walkin' on Sunshine, and literally within the first like 10 seconds of the song, I'm already messing up the dance. And it was not like like nobody noticed. Like, no, people noticed. Here's the clip. I jumped at the wrong time, and I jumped, like, look at this. I'm the only one in the air. And I jumped like 2 inches off the ground. Oh my gosh, I look so dumb, and everyone else jumped so high. So that messed up my whole mental state going through the rest of the dance. I'm sure I messed up elsewhere as well. I just don't have video, so I don't really remember it too well, but anyway, so embarrassing. So that's what happened first. And then I was contestant number 1. So when you're contestant 1, you really have to hustle. Like, you have to get changed fast, because if you're late, the whole show is waiting on you. If you're one of the later numbers, you have more time, right? Because the other girls are on stage competing, so you have that extra time. I did not have that luxury, so as soon as opening number got done, I was booking it off the stage, running into the dressing room, and I had a hair change and I had to change into my swimsuit. So this was probably like the worst part of the whole night, but I'm changing into my swimsuit. I'm trying to be fast. I have like ladies helping me. As I'm like rushing, like trying to jump in my swimsuit, and I'm trying to fix my hair, one of the ladies helping me is like, "What's that on your swimsuit?" And I was like, "What? Like, I don't know. What are you talking about?" And my swimsuit is white. And she's like, "Yeah, it looks like there's something smeared on the back of your swimsuit." So I turn around, I look in the mirror, and what do you know, it's freaking fake tan, self-tanner somehow got all over the butt of my white swimsuit. I don't know how this happened to this day. I'm assuming it's when I was trying to quickly get into my swimsuit that somehow, I don't know, my leg bumped into it and but it didn't matter how it happened. There was brown stuff on the butt of my white swimsuit. This was a catastrophe, and I'm supposed to go on in like 30 seconds, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't even know what to do. I'm like freaking out. And they start bringing over like, there was nobody had makeup remover wipes, but they're bringing like baby wipes and they're trying to wipe it down and it's not coming off. So I'm freaking out at this point. I'm like, I'm about to go on in a swimsuit wearing heels, which is already intimidating enough, but there's stuff on my swimsuit. Like, that is so gross. And so at this point, my hair was not fixed. I was too worried about my swimsuit, and they're just rushing me on stage. They're like, no one will probably be able to see it. Just go, just ignore it. And I'm like, okay, like, yeah, I'll do my best. So I go out, I'm so nervous. I'm very first, and I was self-conscious the whole time that people were looking at what was on my butt. Luckily, after looking at pictures and videos, I couldn't really see anything, and there was only one point where I was really turned around all the way, but I didn't notice it. But what ended up being the most embarrassing part of that whole thing was my freaking hair looked so bad. It was literally, I wanted to do a ponytail, like a high ponytail, like here, but it ended up being here, like on top of my head, and I looked like an idiot. And that was even part of the feedback that I got from the judges at the end. My director was like, yeah, they didn't really like, you know, the ponytail on top of your head. And I'm like, great, thanks. Yeah, I would assume that they didn't like it. So next up was the talent competition, and it was bad because the very last note was off. Like, so I'm a singer. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but I sing the song Not for the Life of Me from Thoroughly Modern Millie, if you know that one. I don't want to just be bashing myself either, but I don't think it was my best performance. But what I was really upset about was that my last note was off. So that was the third main thing. Then after that was onstage question, which was honestly the only part of the competition that I felt confident about besides interview. But then the last thing that went wrong was during evening gown competition, and I literally almost fell. Like, I almost tripped and fell, which is your worst fear, your very worst fear when you're doing a pageant, is you're wearing these high heels and everyone's staring at you, you know. Your worst fear is that you're just gonna trip over your dress and fall. And I actually almost fell during evening gown. I wasn't even walking. It was when I was posing. I had like gotten to my pose, but I wasn't stable, and so I like stumbled a little bit, but I was able to recover, so it was okay. But I don't know if people noticed, but I definitely noticed. And so with the end of the competition, all the different portions done, I did not feel confident. And at that point, I truly felt humbled and just at peace with the fact that I wasn't winning. I was like, you know what, I've gotten to know these girls really well, and I will be happy for whoever wins. And I truly did not think that I was gonna win at all. Literally, I remember going back onto stage for crowning, and I was like, I bet it's gonna be this girl, this girl. I did not think it was gonna be me with everything that had gone wrong. Even if they were just little things in my mind, they were bigger than they actually were. And so just being in that mental state, I just felt like it was over. We were doing crowning or whatever. I ended up winning the director's award, and then I also won best talent. And talent is 30% of your score, and so I mean, that's a lot. So if you're the best talent, you could assume like, hey, you're probably gonna place. So I was very surprised when I won that. And then let's just watch the video. I don't have the video of all of crowning, but it got to the point where they were about to crown the winner.
The new Miss America Ford will receive a $3,000 scholarship. She has an incredible year ahead of her. Miss American Ford 2016 is contestant number 1.
I have to tell you guys, like, squatting down while you're getting crowned is like such a leg workout. And I was just crying. Like, you guys know I'm a crier. Oh my gosh. I was so surprised when they called my name. Like, I I had no idea, and it sounds kind of weird, I know, but I just feel like Heavenly Father has a plan for us, and he knew how much the experience of being Miss American Fork 2016 would shape and impact my life. It truly did so much for me. I mean, I won the $3,000 scholarship that was able to help me pay for my tuition, and I had a year of selfless service that I was really able to give to my community, and I was never really super involved with my community prior to this. Basically, when you're a title holder, I mean, you guys have probably seen it in your cities, like parades. You see them standing on their float and waving, but that is really such a small part of it. There's a saying around the pageant community that once the crown is placed on your head, it's not about you anymore. It's about the people that you serve. And I had the opportunity to attend so many local city events and serve my community in ways that I would have never even imagined. I got to speak to elementary schools, I got to sing at different events, and just get to know different people within like the city council. I would attend grand openings for things, and it was truly the best year. I absolutely loved my time serving. The Miss America organization is also partnered with the Children's Miracle Network. So if you guys have like a primary children's hospital in your area, it's usually connected back to that organization. And I was able to raise over $6,000 for CMN hospitals and collect around 1,000 pairs of shoes for an organization called Souls for Souls. I had many opportunities to serve others, and I feel like at that point that's really what I needed. I was pretty selfish, I feel like. Not that I ever intended to, obviously, but I think I just thought the world revolved around me, and being in that organization really helped me realize that that wasn't the case, and there's so many bigger things that you can help with. So I definitely feel like God was a part of that journey, the whole preparation, and through my entire year, he knew it's what I needed. I gained so much confidence, public speaking skills. I was able to compete at the Miss Utah competition that obviously I didn't win Miss Utah, but just having that experience helped me grow so much as a person. And so I just have a testimony that Heavenly Father knows who we are specifically and what we need in our lives. And of course we have our agency, and you know, things play out the way that they're supposed to, but I feel like he's just very aware of us, and he has a hand in things. I'm so grateful for my year as Miss American Fork, and I'm especially grateful for that little prompting that I got that started this all. So that is my story. I hope you guys enjoyed. Oh, I was gonna show you my crown. Here it is. This one's actually kind of crazy because it's not like these other ones where they like stick on your head with these, like a headband almost. This one just has this strap, so you have to put it on like this. Oh, that's so weird. I haven't put this on in so long. And you like have to clip it to the top of your head. I have my sash. Oh my gosh, it's so dirty. So this was my sash. I wanted to share this story because I feel like God has different plans and paths for all of us. Let me know in the comments how God has had a hand in your life through different experiences and things you've been through. I'd love to hear it. And I appreciate you guys so much for watching this video. Please let me know if you enjoyed storytime videos like this. I would love to make more of them with you. I think it's so fun just to chat. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and if you liked this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.